Hey everyone, it's showtime. I got to talking and next thing you know, I look up and I got no time. It's I'm sorry if I'm a couple seconds late. Welcome back to another episode of Mountain Bike Q&A. I'm your host, Johnny U, and I'm not going to do any yapping. I'm just going to bring this kid right on. Uh, Zach, the Tumor Warrior, 67. He's at school right now, so he may have to talk softly at some point, but I think you're going to love this kid. So let's bring him on. Without further ado, Zach, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just chilling in one of the library study rooms. As you said, I might have to turn it down a little bit, but hopefully none of that happens and I can get through it.
It sounds like you got some soundproofing behind you. It seems like.
Yes, I rented out a media room and it has speakers and all that. So I'm thinking that I can speak a little louder
Uh,
considering all the sound stuff and the speakers and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure it's used for, like, showing videos,
yeah,
so I think I'm okay.
perfect. So where is your school? Where do you go to school?
I go to Chapman University, it's in Orange, California, and it's a small D3 university, but I go there, it's super fun, super nice, and I'm just getting a great education and also playing football and doing what I do best.
And what is that? Playing football? Are you good?
I'm pretty good at football. I'm not the best. I've gotten, some things that I've got to work on. I just do what I do best by being, you know, Zach and just chilling and hanging out, being the tumor warrior, I guess.
Being a team
Yeah.
warrior. What are you studying there? Hold on. Let's before we go. I forgot to warn you. Do you see the comments on the side?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Uh, I just, oh my gosh, there's a lot of comments.
Yeah. See, we got so I'll be
Oh my
popping those
goodness.
things up every now and then.
Hmm.
Um, Fractured Rider, good 3 a.m. from Finland. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We got Elias Venakava. We got Mark, who's got a podcast. And dude, you got a podcast in like an hour, brother. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah. I've been on Mark's podcast once or twice before, yeah.
Okay, well, then you don't need to do this. Let me end this podcast right now.
No.
Trail Pimps, like, what's up? We got Trail Monster. You know these kids?
I know Trail Pimp, I know Riding Dirty, I know Cause, I know The
Riding
Segment.
Dirty.
I have not
Eric.
met Trail Monster, or maybe I have under a different name,
It's
but
Kaz Ozeki.
yeah,
It's close to my last name.
that is good. Yeah.
What's
I
up?
like Cause, yeah, he's a good person. I
And,
like Mark, he's a great person. I love his
Mark's
podcast and what he's doing.
Mark's
Yeah.
okay. Mark's okay.
Just okay. Okay.
Oh, Riding Dirty finally made it. My wife, that's my wife right
Hello.
there. She'll
Yeah.
pop up. She's
Hello.
usually just chatting with the other kids on the thing.
Mhm.
She loves it.
Yeah.
So you're going to college. You're a young buck.
I'd say I'm sort of a young buck. On the football team, I'm considered like a really old person.
Uh,
That's because everybody on the team is like 19, 20, and then there's like a few outliers in that group, and one of those outliers is me. So I'm sort of a young buck in that sense. But yeah.
But you're young compared to me.
You're not that old.
I'm an old man. Look
No.
at the gray.
Nah. You look great. Don't worry about it. You look great.
So being from SoCal, you're from there?
I am, yes. I was born and raised in Southern California, and I've just, been chilling here. We went from a house in Mission Viejo, which is a city down by us, to about 15 minutes away, and then we moved again, and we moved like 4 times
Mhm.
in the past 4 years. So, it's been a lot,
Oh,
but we've gotten some pretty good riding in. I've gotten to call, San Clemente, my home trails, like, they were just in my backyard, and then, I moved, and Aliso, they're in my backyard, and Aliso still is in my backyard. I live very close to Aliso, so
Wow.
I'm pretty happy with everything that's been going on, and, I'm pretty grateful for this opportunity. I could be in the middle of nowhere in Iowa or Kansas or somewhere, but
Yeah.
Tumor Warrior's a Snow Valley legend. You know how it is, Trail Pimp. I'm a Snow Valley legend. I actually went
You
there.
big over there in Snow Valley? They know who you are?
No, no, not really.
No, but you know what
I
you're doing over there.
I have a couple of notorious crashes from Snow Valley. One, I was my first ever ride on my mountain bike, my brand new 2020 Rocky Mountain, and that on that first ride, I tacoed my rim, my front rim,
Oh, that's good.
so completely tacoed, and then a year later, I was on the Trail Dogs group ride up there,
Oh,
and
wow.
I cracked my frame, so through a crash, yeah, so
Ah,
I've had some good crashes out Snow Valley, so yeah.
yeah.
Yep,
Eric Eric's like
that is
he met you.
exactly. Yeah, that's where I met Eric, when I crashed. I don't remember anything from that day, to be honest. So,
Wow, from that
yeah.
crash, the crash.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
from that one,
So,
yeah.
take me
That
back.
wasn't the crash.
So you're like I said, you're a young guy, and you live in SoCal. When did the mountain biking come to be for you? I mean, did you have buddies that were doing it that brought you in, or you just lived behind a mountain and you're like, let's do this?
No, I started when I was about 4 years old, and it was on my dad it was at the time when the alley cat was still a thing. I would ride my dad's alley cat, and what the alley cat is, it's an extension into a bike, so it's kinda like how e-bikers you can tow people, but that's bike to bike. It's kinda like a tow, but it's connected to the bike, so you'd
Oh
have,
yeah,
like, this long frame connecting to the bike, and then you on the back, and it'd be like a little bike. You'd have your own little pedals and your own handlebars, whatever, and it was super cool, so that's how I got into it, and that was when I was 4 years old and 5 years old, and then I
wow.
kinda was off and on until I was about 11 or 12, and then I got really serious into it, and me and my friends, we just grew together in mountain biking, and then I got into my crash, then I stopped, and then had to deal with a bunch of medical issues, and
Yeah.
then I got back into it in 2018, and then 2019 is when I really got kinda serious with it, and from there on, I was just, sat around.
But before the crash, um, I was watching some of your older videos and stuff. I mean, you were in it.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it was a lifestyle for you.
Yeah, it's always kind of, like an alternate lifestyle because since I've been in football, I don't really get to fully, like, go 100% into
Mhm.
mountain biking,
Yeah.
which is down the line, I actually wanna go into racing and go full 100% into mountain biking,
Wow.
and I feel like I'd be alright at it. I mean, I'm not the quickest and I'm not the slowest, so we'll see
Yeah.
what it is. But I've I've just I don't know. I really wanna get into racing and see where that takes me.
But you love being in the saddle. You love the 2 wheels and you love to feel
Mhm.
the dirt underneath you.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. I lost my train of thought on the last question.
That's
That,
what I do all the time.
yeah.
Get used to
Yeah.
it.
Yes, yes, I've been used to it for a little bit. I'm losing my train of thought a lot, but so I would do football and mountain biking, so I haven't really fully indulged into mountain biking, and I really want to fully indulge into it because my friend, he fully indulged into it, and he rode, I think it was 2.5 years every single day, where he didn't miss a day, whether it was just like little pedal around his house, like, not inside his house, but, like, around
Yeah.
his neighborhood,
Yeah. Neighborhood ride.
or it was a bigger ride. So, yeah.
That's you just love it. I mean, like
Mhm,
all of us that are on the comments and me and you, we just we love the dirt. We love the challenge. That's what I like about mountain biking so much is that and I was never a football guy or a sports guy. I always joke my dad was kind of a nerd, so I never really got into the sports stuff. But I love that you're challenging yourself. You're not going against anybody else except for you.
mhm,
You
correct.
know, it's that great feeling of testing yourself, if you will, pushing yourself to go further and further. And
Yes.
and you were, I mean, before the accident, I mean, obviously we'll get to that, but it's you were a serious. I mean, that jump that you took that changed your life was no, it wasn't like a 2x4 up against a cinder block.
Mm-mm.
It was a serious jump. I mean, you like to fly?
I did. Right now, I am at a weight where that weight does not fly very well, and I am not going to try flying at this weight.
Yeah,
And most of my serious injuries actually have come from through the air. So I prefer staying on the ground for right now, and later on when I don't have other obligations like football and school, and I can kind of afford to, like, if I get hurt, miss a day,
yeah,
then I'll start getting back into jumping and doing stuff. But my jumping skills as of right now are still pretty good. I mean, I
nice.
still hit, like, smaller jumps, like 5 foot, 10-foot tables and whatnot. I don't clear them, but I still hit them, and,
Yeah,
they're still fun for me.
you still like the feeling of doing it all. Trail pimp, he's like me. I've never raced, don't care about massive jump. I love riding, good times, and a beer after.
Well, that is one thing about me. I don't like beer. So,
Not a big beer drinker either, but I
yeah,
always have one beer after a ride.
yeah. I just don't enjoy. Not only do I not enjoy the taste of beer, I don't enjoy how it makes me feel after. One of the common misconceptions about me is that I'm 100% normal. I'm cool with it. It's like, yeah, I'm cool with it, but it's like with me not like drinking beer, that puts me into like a state of mind where my mind kind of races, and
Mhm.
then I don't sleep for a while, and then the next day I basically am hungover
Oh yeah,
from just one beer, because what people don't get is, for me, sleep is very, very important. If I do not get 8 hours of sleep, I am I'm useless the next day,
yeah,
basically useless.
yeah.
So getting that 8 hours of sleep, I would rather take that over, drinking a beer or going to a party or doing something. And that's what my friends don't really get is like, I want to do all this stuff, but it's like I really don't have the mental capacity, or not mental capacity. I
Mm,
don't have the health capacity
yeah, to
to do
take care.
this. Yeah, so but I make do with what I can. I go out and go to a couple parties here and there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you're the guy that doesn't need a beer to have a good time.
Exactly.
You have a good time no matter what, man. You play football, you mountain bike, you're in college, good looking kid, probably having a great time.
Yeah.
Let's get to it.
All right.
We hold on. We've got New Zealand in the house.
Octo
Octo
Dad,
Dad
what's going on?
going on. You got a party coming here. MTB OG Mafer is in here as well. If you know all these
Yeah. Hey,
kids,
what's going on? Yeah.
um, let's get you. Let's get you. Let's talk about it. Let's hold on. Let's get and we won't play everything. I really want to get to that the
forever,
jump.
and I posted a video last week of a mountain biking crash that said those exact
Let's
words.
just see this crash first.
After I crashed, I
Oh,
was airlifted to the hospital, and as a part of
okay. So we saw that accident.
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't. Just look at this, folks.
After
Ah,
I crashed, I was airlifted to the hospital.
take me back to that day when that happened. Do you remember landing, or did they just like what
I don't
happened
remember
with that
anything.
accident? Talk to me about that accident because it wasn't. It didn't look fun.
No, it wasn't. I'm assuming it wasn't. Uh, but yeah, so that accident, I was on a normal mountain bike ride with my
Mhm.
friends, and it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so we had the day off from school.
Yeah.
Go out to the San Clemente single tracks for a short, 9-mile loop and just pedal around and whatnot and screw around. And at that time, we like my group of friends and I, we were like one of the top riders of our age group at the time in
Uh,
California. And that's before mountain biking like boomed and like got all like really competitive. But we were like one of the top people around, and we were just out there having a good old time, messing around. And I don't know what happened in my brain where we rode by the gap jump that I did, and I just was like, I think I'm gonna do it. I was like, I'm just gonna send it. And I told my friend, I was like, hey, just go film and whatever happens, happens. He he was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Because no one in that friend group has even wanted to attempt it. No one has even thought about, like, attempting it, and I'm just like, "Yeah, why not?" You know? So, they were just like, "Okay," and then one of our friends, he had to go, and right as he was leaving, that's when I dropped in, and as you can see, didn't make it. So my friend was there. He was the first person to be on scene, and he took me through concussion protocol. You can actually hear all of my responses later on in the video, but I've cut it out of that video just because it was a lot of me just laying on the ground grunting for about 30 seconds, and then he asked me what was going on, where I was, and what happened, and I kept saying, "I don't know, where am I?" Like showing signs of a concussion, and then he's
mhm.
like, "Okay." And then he kinda looks around for a bit and then calls my friend and then asks me the exact same questions, and I answer them lickety split right on the spot.
Okay.
It's the weirdest thing. So,
What was it
after
like?
the
An
c
initial shock at first, and then you started coming back, or
I guess, I still can't
yeah,
remember to this day
yeah.
what
Like
happened.
the Trail Monster said, that was a wicked crash.
It was a wicked crash, yeah.
And I was gonna
Yeah.
say, and then
Oh,
from there,
yeah, and
yeah.
then I, uh, I call my mom. I ask her, "What should I do?" Because my hip was badly bruised. Thank God it wasn't broken. I thought I injured something really bad. So my hip was bruised, and everyone in the park, they were around that because it was kinda like a big scene. So there was guys there, they were all telling me, "Stay down, it's internal, don't try to get up." So I was telling my mom, I was like, "What do I do?" And she worked for Orange County Fire Authority at the time.
Oh, wow.
So she called up one of the pilots in the helicopter crew to come grab me.
Wow.
And so they came to me, which it was no easy trek to come to me. It was getting dark. I was placed under mountain or placed under power lines, and I was at the bottom of a hill.
Yeah, a
So
helicopter. The helicopter's trying to get you.
yeah, so the helicopter, they had to land or not land. They were up top and they had to strap me into one of the bucket. They had to hoist me up in a bucket.
What?
Yeah. So or not in a bucket, in a
Yeah, that thing, the metal
the
thing
air
with the
gurney.
yeah,
I don't know what it's called.
yeah.
If my mom has a YouTube account, she would comment right now, "It's not an air gurney, blah blah blah." And I'm, you know, one of those things. And I was airlifted off to the hospital. It was my first helicopter ride, and I couldn't see anything. I was bummed out.
You were like,
So
"Man, I got a helicopter ride, I don't even get to see anything."
exactly.
Not a fun helicopter ride. Now, were you in a lot of pain during that time before all this? I mean, you bruised your hip and stuff, but other than that, you didn't
Yeah.
break an arm or chip a
No.
tooth, or
Mm-mm.
you
No,
were well protected?
I was I was fine. I was perfectly fine. The bike was not. Um,
You know
the
that's
bike, I sheared off the rear axle, cracked the rear triangle,
wow.
and I think I like blew out the shock or something like that. I don't know.
Well, now take me. What? How far of a gap was that, and how high was it?
It was about I want to say like a 30 or 40-foot gap,
Check, please.
and it was only like a 5-foot difference. It wasn't that big of a difference from lip to landing. The
Yeah.
thing was the landing was super steep, so if you cased it, yeah, you'd get tossed over like I did, so yeah.
So, man, so you're getting airlifted. You had bad enough accident that you're getting airlifted. Your mom's probably going, I know you shouldn't be mountain biking. I told you, you worry me all the time. Um, with that mountain biking stuff you do.
I don't know. I haven't really she always says she doesn't like me mountain biking, but it's like she doesn't really tell me not to do it. She says she doesn't like it, but I
Yeah.
guess she's okay with me doing it, if
Yeah.
if that kinda makes sense, but
So now when you get to the hospital, they assess you. What is the protocol for a mountain biking accident at the hospital that you get airlifted to? Like they just check everything?
yeah, so since I was airlifted, trauma protocol was initiated. So they treated me like a trauma patient. So
Mhm.
say someone gets in a car accident, has to get airlifted, I'd be treated the exact same way. So that was they had to strip me of all my clothes. They cut off my kit, which was brand new. First day I was ever riding it.
I know.
I just got it for Christmas earlier that year, or not earlier that year. It was January 17th. So in 2016,
Yeah.
I got it for Christmas. And my parents, it was a nice Troy Lee Designs kit. So
Uh-huh.
my parents were pissed because they spent a lot of money and we would not get that back.
Yeah.
So it was about a $300 kit and it was just completely wasted.
And you're like, "Look, whoa, 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 scissors. I'll take it off. I'm fine."
Yeah. Well, they had me in a neck collar.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so they didn't know if anything on my spinal cord was like messed up. So they
Yeah.
had to do that. I remember the trauma bay being very cold. And
Ooh.
then they took me in for a full body CT scan. That's another part of their protocol. They just CT scan me from head to toe and make sure I'm okay. And they didn't tell me initially what happened, but they pulled my parents off to the side. They're like, "We found a mess in your son's brain. Take him down for an MRI." And so I was taken down for an MRI, and that's when the pediatrician, who was not very good at delivering news, that's when he came in. He told me about the brain tumor, and from his thoughts, he thought it'd be good to tell me that I had a 1 in 10 chance at a living, which wasn't really the case. I think my odds of survival are a lot better than that, but that's what he told me, so I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it, saying I beat those odds, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure those were the exact odds.
Wow. Now, backing up a little bit, how old were you when this happened?
17.
Oh, wow. And you're 17 years old and you're told that you have a brain tumor.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
this is not a pun, and I mean nothing about it, but what was going through your thought process, your head? It's no pun, but like what was going through your head when someone tells you as a 17-year-old that you have a mass in your brain?
Well, literally what was going through my head was a brain tumor. No.
Yeah, but the thought.
No, yeah. No, the thought was, "I don't wanna die." that was my thought,
Yeah, God, man.
because obviously I don't want to die. No one wants to die, and that was
Yeah.
just my thought. And I was like, wow. Um, so that was really my thought, and I couldn't really think of anything else. I was kind of just like taken in shock. Couldn't really process it that much, but
Yeah.
so yeah.
17-year-old. I can't even begin. Adam Mock is jumping in. You were just telling me earlier that he was one of the reasons why you got to YouTubing.
Yeah, he was the first video I ever saw of like mountain biking YouTubers, and that's where I got inspiration to start it because I knew I had an incredible story, and I was like, and I
Yeah.
wanted to go into like advocacy for brain tumors and childhood cancer and whatnot. And I was like, how could I just like mesh the two
Hmm.
and like just grow an audience, you know? So
Yeah.
that was where I was at, and I saw Adam's video, and like one of his videos, he was in waterworks after he hurt his knee. This was a while back, but I saw it and I was like, maybe I'll just be a YouTuber for this. Maybe I'll just spread my word, and maybe it'll catch on, maybe it won't,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens.
So now this has been a journey. So you get the word that you have a brain tumor. How soon after do they go in and take it out, or were there options? What I mean, what did your family go through during this time of trying to make a decision?
Yeah, so we met a couple of neurosurgeons actually.
Mhm.
The first neurosurgeon was an adult neurosurgeon, and he was like he explained it. So the brain tumor I had was a pediatric brain tumor, and it grew in the back of the brain. Adult brain tumors grow in the front of the brain,
Wow.
and when they do surgery with adult tumors, they put you out, but you're able to like function. So what they do is they like cut in and they're like, "Can you move this?" And then they're like, and then the patient tries, and then they go, "Oh yeah, I can move that," and then they take it out. So that's how adult surgery works. But
Oh,
I
okay.
was pediatric, so they had to go in through the back of my head, cut open the back of my head, and take the tumor out that way. And I was completely out for that one.
Oh, oh God, just the thought of that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's mhm.
Well, I mean, this is you've probably seen my this little podcast thing of mine.
Yeah, no, I've seen it.
It's goofy. And this is a lot to take in. I mean, this is the tumor. You're 17. You're getting the back of your head cut open.
Mhm.
They're taking it. Now, were they successful in getting all of it out? And was it cancerous?
So, this is what trips me up, as I explained earlier, but I'll explain it again.
Uh-huh.
The brain tumor was not cancerous, but the way that it grew to be the size that it grew like cancer, but it
Uh,
was slow growing, and it was not it was n like, it was benign. It wasn't
yeah.
gonna impact me very bad because it was very slow growing and whatnot. But the thing was that the brain tumor was the size of a golf ball.
Wow.
So that's where the sense of urgency came. And actually, the night of my crash, when I met my neurosurgeon, he wanted to remove that brain tumor that night. They were prepping me for surgery that night, but he called it off because he was going on a vacation trip for his anniversary.
Wow. What? Hold on. Wait. Called it off. Well, I mean, how long do they think you had this tumor that they could probably just go, well, it could hold off for a few more?
That's a very tricky question. So there was two possible explanations. One, I've had it from birth,
Wow.
and it was just very slow growing and just never caught on. Or two, it came to be from puberty. So when all the cells they start changing and everything, maybe puberty caused the brain tumor to like kind of activate and grow.
Wow.
So those are the two possible explanations that they have.
And to add on to that, what my wife says, did you feel anything before or have any symptoms of a tumor before the crash?
No, I was asymptomatic. I was completely fine. Well, actually, hold that thought. There, I since I played football in high school, during the season, I would get headaches in the back of my head, but I would think like, "Oh, it's because I'm dehydrated." Yes, yes, glioma. It was a stage 2 ganglion glioma,
Oh
and the
wow,
ganglioglioma is actually a very rare brain tumor.
Seth.
So, I think about don't I'm terrible with this. I think about 1 to 2% of brain tumors are gangliogliomas.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. I think, I'm I should probably know this because I've had one, but I do not.
we're, we're
But yeah.
we're not gonna we're not gonna you know take any points away from you if you don't get it right.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know exactly what he has, so he's not.
Yeah.
You lived through
Yeah,
it. You're living through
I
it.
just don't want this coming up later down the line. Maybe if I try to be someone important, they go, "Oh, well, Zach said this on this one time on the MTV Q&A podcast." You know, I just wanted full disclosure, I'm not an expert on this, but I do know a thing or two.
So you get operated on. Well, and this is how I go. I want to learn about it. You get operated. You're 17. Back your head's open. They take the tumor out. How long after do you wake up from this? I mean, is it like a thing you wake up the next day and you just got like they give you Tylenol or
So I remember waking up straight out of surgery. I was kind of going in and out.
wow.
My neurosurgeon, he asked me a question and I tried to respond to him, but with all the medication they gave me, I couldn't. So I was basically just laying there, like basically paralyzed. But
Mhm.
I wasn't. I was just like laying there, like I want to say something, but I literally can't. I remember looking up and around the room and I was hallucinating. So I think, but I thought I was under like this cage that was yellow. So I'm pretty sure I was hallucinating, and someone in the corner, like a nurse in the corner, and I was just in this small room and hallucinations. So
Yeah,
I
you
I
waking
think I
up,
was
you just had somebody digging around in your head.
yeah,
Yeah, you're
and
gonna be
then
in a yellow cage. Why not?
and then I didn't wake up until 3 days later.
Wow.
hmm
Good
So
sleep.
they sedated me medically. It was kinda like almost like a coma, but it wasn't a coma. They
Yeah,
just sedated me
they just kept you
for
asleep.
yeah, for
Yeah.
very long, and then I remember I wake up, I
Wow.
have to use the restroom, and since we're in a children's hospital, they bring a portable bucket, but that thing's, like, super small, and I
Okay.
feel it around my butt cheeks, and I'm like, "No, you are gonna need a way bigger bucket," but keep in mind, I just woke up out of 3 days of just not eating or drinking, so
Yeah.
yeah. It fit. It
Like
fit.
this isn't gonna hold.
No, it's not. It's not.
My God. Just you went through so much. And again, you're 17. You've got to be a little scared.
Yeah, I was scared for the first surgery. But after the first surgery, I kinda knew what to expect and I wasn't scared anymore.
Yeah.
So,
How was your
yeah, so
family during the first surgery?
they were good, I think.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
knew.
seeing well, for me, I came up to the room. My they immediately took me up to the ICU. So I
Mhm.
came up to the ICU with my blood pressure at 200 over 100, about 8 doctors performing stuff of various types on me. So to see that for my family probably wasn't the greatest,
Yeah.
and I'm very thankful that I can't remember any of this, and they haven't really talked to me about it. I remember my mom, she said one thing about it. She's like, "Yeah, it was very scary because you had a team of doctors around you trying to, like, bring you back to life, basically." So,
Wow.
yeah,
What
it wasn't it wasn't fun,
so
but
you get out of it. Are you able to go home after like a week or so? And is there did wow, I'm no good at this. Uh,
no, don't worry.
I'm
Yeah,
horrible at this
it's all fine.
interviewing
It's all
stuff. That's
fine.
why I have a podcast.
Yeah,
Um,
it's fine.
yeah, but no, seriously, like, were you going home afterwards? Did they say we got it all? You're good.
So they got 99% of the brain tumor, and that 1% will come up later. So they got 99.9% of the brain tumor,
Mhm.
0.01% of it, or point 0.1, we'll say point 0.1, was not, was inoperable. Oh my God, I forgot that word. It was inoperable on my brain stem, so they couldn't get it. But I was able to like fully wake up 5 days later,
Mhm.
bunch of deficits, but they only had two
Yeah.
requirements for me to go home. Since I had a catheter in, I had to pee on my own. So they took out the catheter, I had to pee on my own. That was number 1, and number 2 was you had to be able to walk up and down the stairs by yourself.
Yeah.
So I was, like, clinched onto the railing, slowly taking my time, but I was able to
Wow.
complete it, and I went home after 5 days. So I was super proud that I was able to go home, and actually, the nurse told me I was the fastest patient to come out of the hospital after a craniotomy. But
Wow.
yet again, it's a children's hospital. So me at 17 versus,
A
a
children's hospital.
newborn,
Well,
you
you're
know,
also a
yeah.
pretty tough mountain biker. That's got a lot to say
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, stealing candy from a baby. It's not really that hard,
I'm
but
17, you all are 5.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't really hold that much credit to it.
Now, what
And
was
actually
some
though, later down the line, I do break that time with my second craniotomy. But yeah,
so you had your head open twice?
more than twice.
Well,
I
I've seen
have
you've had, like, how many surgeries?
17. I've had 17 surgeries to this day. I've had 10 brain surgeries, 3 kidney surgeries, an eye surgery, 2 wait, 10 brain, 3 kidney, 2 face, 1 eye, and wisdom teeth. I don't really count it as like
Oh, come on, man. Someone's digging around in your head. You don't have teeth.
Yeah. I mean, I say it's a surgery because I was still knocked out,
Yeah.
fully out, and the surgeon did cut me up. So it was technically a surgery, but it's not related to that.
10 here.
Yes, 10.
Wow.
Mhm.
I can't even fathom 1, and you're like at like 6 where you're like, "All right, let's go."
No, that was me at 2.
Really? After the second one, you were like, "Okay, let's do this again."
After the first one, I was kinda like, "Alright, whatever." But I will say after the first one, I did kinda lose any, like, consciousness. I was kinda just, like, floating around there
Mhm.
and just, like, I don't know what was going on because I got bacterial meningitis out of the first surgery. And so January 23rd, that was the first surgery. And then the second surgery was February 2nd. And the third surgery was February 14th. And I went home after the first surgery. So, first surgery, go home. And then I go back with bacterial meningitis.
Good lord, man.
Hmm.
What now, do they actually and this is just me being stupid, and I don't even I guess Seth might be a doctor?
There's no stupid questions.
no doctor here. Do they take the part of your head off? Like, do they cut open like part of the skull and take it off?
So, sort of. So
Okay.
what they do is they cut open to your skull and then they cut your skull like so what they did with me is they cut like a square piece of my skull out. They took my skull piece out, worked in my brain, and then put that skull plate back on. And I first had two titanium plates, but those caved in. Now I have a platinum like banana peel shaped plate in my head.
So you got titanium back there.
No,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
titanium ones caved in.
and then
So when they went back for my second craniotomy, they put a platinum plate that's like super
platinum.
strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this is just beyond. I mean, right here, riding dirty. You are a real warrior, man. I mean, you're just second after the first one. You're like, let's do it again. So
hmm
what did those 10, what did those consist of? Is trying to get the rest of it out?
No,
Or was
so
it trying to fix?
since I had bacterial meningitis, that led to a blockage in my CSF, which is or blocking one of my CSF aqueducts, which is CSF stands for cerebral spinal fluid.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like how you oil a car, you need oil.
Yeah.
CSF is basically oil for your central nervous, or not your central, for your brain and your spine, I
Mhm.
believe. Not a doctor, don't quote me.
No,
But
there
this is
I'll
what
take
I
your
believe.
word on it. You've had it done more than I have.
Yes. So basically what that bacterial meningitis did is the bacterial meningitis, they the bacterial meningitis clogged up one of the aqueducts, so my CSF could drain, and it was causing major pressure in one of my ventricles and in my head.
Yeah.
So they had, so three of my surgeries consisted of external ventricle drains or EVDs, and basically they drill a hole in your brain and they drop a drain into the ventricle that's filling up with fluid, and they have it like externally draining. So I had three of those, and then I've had two ETVs, which are endoscopic third ventriculostomines. So basically, they cut open your head a little bit, they go in, and they try cleaning out that ventricle. And after they're done, they just close me back up, and I should be good to go. The thing was, since I'm apparently a quick healer, my my holes just closed back up,
Close back up.
and that's when they needed to put my VP shunt in, or I'm gonna pronounce it. I'm gonna try to pronounce it. Ventriculoperitoneal shunt, VP
I'm
shunt.
gonna check that. I will grade you on this.
It's a long word. I know that. That's why they call it
Wow.
VP shunt. But yeah, so that was put in, and I still have it to this day. So basically, it works as an EVD, but also it's internal and it's just forever there.
It's just in your head.
So basically, it kind of acts like one of the aqueducts.
Okay. So
So
it's
it like it just drains my CSF and like the excess CSF, basically.
when did you start realizing that you've had some deficiencies? And I don't want to bring it up, but you do have some. Your right side is a little. Is it your right
Yes.
side? I never know
Yes.
what.
The right side of my face is paralyzed. So
When did that happen?
that happened after surgery 13 on January 22nd, 2018.
13. Okay. I gotta
And
keep up. I gotta
actually,
just start writing these down.
yeah, I've got a whole sheet.
Oh, okay. There you go. You got it written down
Yeah,
just in case.
I well, I have to, or I start, rambling like, was it this date? Was it that date? I need the facts. So
It's me. You don't
yeah,
need too many facts. You don't need proper
yeah.
dates.
Well, you know,
But
I like it
so
this way.
so after 13, as Seth was here, would say, nerve damage from the brain surgeries, or
Nerve damage. We can't prove it, so
uh,
we think it's nerve damage, but we really can't prove it. So we're gonna go by the doctor's word. Oh, he accidentally bumped a nerve and that's what caused it, but we have no clue what it
yeah,
is. We're thinking it was severed, but it was bumped. That's that's what he told us. That's what it is,
yeah.
apparently. So it was my seventh cranial nerve, which is the nerve that controls the facial paralysis, or it controls facial function, and it was the right side, basically.
Yeah.
So the right side of my face is paralyzed, but surgery 14 and 15 were facial nerve reconstruction surgeries.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that like when you lost that side, right side, this side? Was there a panic at some point for you, or are you? I mean, like you said, after the second surgery, you're like, "Pff," was this something that caused you distress, if you will, or you were like,
Yeah.
no, I was doing good. Now this.
hmm Yeah. I just, I don't know. I just completely, like, since I lost it, it's the first thing you see. So, like, the first thing I see when I meet you
Yeah.
is your face. You know, if I see you in
Mhm.
public, the first thing you see of someone is their face.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, so I've lost function of half of what the first, like, the initial meeting that people have is. So I was kind of like, well, great, I'm screwed in terms of this. And
Wow.
then so
So that was a
yeah,
really
it's
difficult moment for you, or time for you. You went through all these surgeries, and all of a sudden, like you
mhm,
said, the first thing that people see is your moneymaker,
yeah,
and it's now,
mhm. It's
a
all
little
it's all
off.
dead. So but yeah, so I've had two facial nerve reconstruction surgeries and they've actually helped. So before my face used to like droop down like this, and I used to
Mhm.
talk like this and like just out of one side, but now I can get movement and since the right side is paralyzed, I can since they so what they did was they took a nerve out of my ankle and they grafted it all the way up here and they
Wow.
grafted it across my face. Gave it a year to kind of develop into a nerve
Mhm.
and they took out my tensor fascial lata, my TFL, out of my right leg. It's a ligament that you don't really use. They took that right out of my right leg. It's in your quad,
Mhm.
and they put it right here. So the reason that I have so much tone right here is because that's actually my TFL.
And it's helping you lift it?
No, he just put it in for definition,
Oh.
and
Oh, yeah. There is and I don't, I'm gonna mess this up. There is, yeah, I am gonna mess this up. There is yeah, see
yeah,
right
you can
there
you can see what it was before. Yeah.
where it was before, but there was that.
hmm
There was that. That was kind of what they fixed.
So
Yeah.
actually what you're seeing here is the drains.
Oh,
So
that's
they put in drains to make sure there's no blood clotting, and that's what a lot of plastic surgeons do,
uh-huh.
to make sure that there's no blood clotting. It's a normal suction drain, so they just have a little suction cup on the end of your drain, and
Mhm.
they get inside your wound. So basically, if any excess blood happens, it'll get sucked up.
Oh, okay. I
That's all
didn't
it's
know if
for.
that was
Yeah.
the I mean, there's so much. If you guys ever go, you got to go into the tumorwarrior67.com to see the journey.
Mhm.
But So again, you don't have you don't have feeling still there?
I've had feeling the whole time.
Oh, you have feeling, it just
Yeah,
doesn't move.
exactly. So it's a really weird sensation to have because I can feel it. I know it's there. It's just for the life of me, I can't move it, and it's very difficult to like just even think about moving it. So it's it's so weird.
It
I can't explain it.
yeah, it's there, it just doesn't move. Can and Seth brings up a great point. Is it can you blink or is there do they install weights in eyelids? I don't I'm this is above me.
They install weights in eyelids to make it close. So actually, so my right eye, I look away if you're squeamish, but my right eye doesn't close all the way.
Mhm.
And I what I can do is since I had the facial nerve reconstruction surgeries, I can flex my face by biting down like this. And when I
Uh-huh.
do that and I close my eye, it fully closes. So it's fully closed at that point.
Yeah.
So that's how I can blink, but normally what I do is every night I put in this thick film of like this lubricating eye drop into my eye, and every morning I rinse it out with this just kind of like water lubrication and kind of get all that gunk out that way.
Well, so that helps you sleep.
No, it doesn't really help me sleep. It's
Oh, because
just
I was thinking you're sleeping with your eye open.
no, because when you blink down, your eye kind of rolls to the back of your head.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay, so
so
you
for the
sleep it
most
open.
part, I can't see anything.
Wow. Wow. So let's move. So you've had 17 surgeries, you said?
Yes,
Are you done?
that's what I thought after surgery 15. So I don't know.
Let's cross our fingers.
Fingers
Everyone
crossed,
in the
yes.
comment section, let's cross
Fingers
our
crossed,
fingers
yes, but
that this is it. Um, moving on. Whew, this is so much, and I'm
yeah.
not even living it. Like, what drives you? I
There
mean,
are multiple things that drive me. The haters saying that I can't do it, kind of me being the stubborn person that I am and proving them wrong that I can do it. So when they tell me I can't, I do it, and that fuels me. Pure just motivation of what I was and how close to death I was multiple times.
yeah,
That drives me to kind of stay away from that because that wasn't a good feeling, and I was very close. So I try to stay away from that, and I'm pretty sure everyone does, but I'm trying extra hard to stay away from that and just I just keep going. That's really my drive is just keep pushing forward no matter how hard it is and keep grinding.
yeah, man. You're you're like an inspiration. I mean, you're
Thank you.
17. You've had 17 operations. Was this, and then you're like,
I
uh,
I f- right now I'm not 17.
no, no,
I'm
you
not
were
17 right now.
17
I was 17 when this started.
when it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You were 17
Yeah.
when this started, and this was what 6, 7 years ago.
The 6 years ago, yeah.
Okay, and now you're in college.
Mhm.
Was there a point where you had to drop out of college or to take care of you?
No, there wasn't a point where I had to drop out. I had to skip a year of high school because all of this happened during high school,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
That's
my
right.
second
Right.
semester of high school. So I basically had to skip that semester, and in order to move up with my class, the school gave me an option of, "Oh, take the whole second semester in 3 weeks, because that's when grades are due,
Yeah.
or just redo your second semester and drop a class." Like, drop, like, a grade class. And I was like, "You're gonna have me, who just came out of all this brain tumor stuff, take a full semester in 3 weeks?"
3 weeks, you're like this.
And that's a full 7 class course load. Like,
Yeah.
I I was kind of like, are you guys okay? Do you guys know what just happened to me? Like, I what?
You're like,
So
this was messed with, and you want me to cram in
exactly.
7 or however months of knowledge and
Yeah, and the second half of my junior year actually consists of a research paper that's 20 pages.
no, I can't, no.
So it's like, there's no way on this earth that I'm doing this. So I just took the extra year, and that last year was fine. And then the year after that, I had kind of no one really I could relate to on a personal level. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hell on earth. And
Wow.
then I went off to college, and I bounced around, went to school out in Wisconsin. Then COVID happened, went to a junior college, and then now I'm here at Chapman.
There you go. Was there any kind of, uh, was there any kind of, like, cognitive issues after the surgery? I mean, I know you were saying you were gonna try to take, the courses in a short period of time, but did you have problems with, like, speech or thought processes? And
So coming out of surgery, in that surgery, I had a stroke. So in both craniotomies, I had a stroke, which gave me right
wow,
side deficits. But since the first one hit so hard, the second one wasn't as bad. And actually, I don't know if I had a stroke in the second surgery. See, this is why I write things down,
yeah.
because I kind of go back and I'm like, ah,
Well, there's a lot
so
going on. I mean,
yeah,
it's not even that you had brain surgery. You've had 17 surgeries, so there's a
yeah.
lot to try to put
Mhm.
together.
Yeah, so in the first surgery, though, I know that it was written down that I had brain bleeding, which is basically a stroke.
Yeah.
So since that happened, the full right side of my body, I couldn't really move. It was very hard to move.
Wow.
I had to relearn how to read, walk, write, talk. So yes, I basically did, but that was in the hospital when I was still going through all of the other things that were going on. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was kinda like just whatever. It was just another deck of cards put on this other deck of cards, basically,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Eh, whatever," like, I'll just get through it.
But yeah, again, you had brain surgery, so there was gonna be some kind of, something going on with thinking and physical and, it's that's my wife asked a question, if it is too much, she's like, if you didn't have that accident, where would this be now? Like, would it have affected you at some point and they would have caught it? It's like a woulda, shoulda,
You'd
coulda, like,
be
you can't
you would be interviewing someone else right now if, they never caught it. I would not be here. I would yeah, that
really.
it's as simple as that. I wouldn't be here. So,
So the mountain biking accident, I mean, as bad as it was,
saved my
again,
life.
this is the tumor warrior story. It
Yeah,
saved your
and
life.
yeah, and I'm religious, and I would say that it is a blessing in disguise, that accent was. And I don't want to force it on you if you're not religious,
No,
that
do
no,
you,
don't
man.
mind it, but
Be good.
I call it a blessing in disguise, and I truly think that God did save my life for that. So, yeah.
Beautiful,
That's what
man. It's
happened, yeah.
it's beautiful. If, whatever gets you going, man. And
Mhm.
and I think the fact that I feel like it has changed you as a human. How has it changed you as a person, like, to be motivated even more now? You've got this second chance, kind of, if you will.
Mhm.
Uh,
It's totally changed my outcome and my mindset of life. Before I was kind of just like, ah, no, I'll do this later. Ah, I'll do this later. And now it's like, no, I'm doing it now because you don't know when that brain tumor's coming back. Well, hopefully it doesn't, knock on wood.
mm,
Yeah. I'm,
no.
Yeah, but who knows when another medical issue arises and like that, and I come to terms and I can't do it anymore. So I'm starting to say yes to things a lot more. I am starting to I mean, since everything, I've had a change of heart.
Mhm.
Before I wanted to be an engineer, live out in the middle of nowhere in this big house and just chill and be an engineer, and that's the lifestyle and whatnot. And I totally want to. It's changed me. I want to be a motivational speaker, an advocate of childhood cancer or
Beautiful.
brain tumors or pediatric brain tumors, and I want to do all this charity work now, and I want to be creative and like spread all like the word and like inspire people to do great things just as I have done and kind of build up this world to be a better place. And that's all I want to do is just show that with hard work like you can achieve the goals you want, you know? If you were to ask me 6 years ago where I'd be,
Yeah.
in college, I'd be like, "Oh, probably doing nothing." And
Yeah.
here I am playing college football. When I first started playing football, I never thought I'd play college football ever. And now I actually have the opportunity to play college football.
Man, you're moving me because it's amazing how a lot of us go through life taking it somewhat for granted.
Mhm.
You had a taste of not maybe being around. You had that scare and it has changed you. And I think we should all know that we're not promised tomorrow.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And we should grab it and take advantage of every day. I mean, and that's why I love doing what I'm doing here is meeting people like you. It was one of those like just do it. The
Yeah.
damn Nike thing.
Mhm.
And that's how
Thank
you
you, yeah.
and that's how you do it. You're like, let's just do it, man. Let's play college ball. Let's take advantage of the life that we have, and
Yeah.
what was it? The Degrassi guy. I love this saying is like there's more people that haven't existed than have existed. So you shouldn't
Yeah.
squander and throw this life away that we have. And that's
Exactly, yeah.
really and you've had a good support system, I guess, with that helping you get there, right?
Mhm. Yes, I've had a great support system. My mother, my father, my medical support system, I my physical therapists, my occupational therapists, my coaches, they've helped me out as well. I
Mhm.
do boxing as well.
What?
So my boxing
No.
trainer, he was super supportive. Yeah, I do it with Gary Ballard over at Ballard Boxing and Fitness in RSM. And what he does is he works with Parkinson's patients. And for me, I have a shake, like my right side shakes when it gets tired.
Really?
So I go to him and it helps me out. So it's kind of like a Parkinson's things, but it's kind of not. And it's it's really helped me out. My physical therapist, Mike Monahan over at M&M Physical Therapy in Ladera Ranch, they've helped me out. Sorry, I'm plugging them right now, but
No, plug
you
away,
know,
man. These are people that have helped you through the
hmm
trying times. I just wonder if your neurosurgeon does he get invited to Christmas dinner?
no, no, he doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of a weird relationship, I would say. It's
Well,
not one where we're like super close, but it's not one that we're like really far apart.
yeah.
It's kind of like,
Well, you kind of want your neurosurgeon to be kind of back. You don't want to ever see him
yeah,
again. You thank him for what he's
yeah,
done for you, but you're like,
exactly,
this is it. I
exactly.
don't want to see you again, buddy.
Yeah, but he's a great guy. I love him. He saved my life as well. His name is Dr. William Loudon. He's one of the top pediatric neurosurgeons in the country. So I'm very grateful for him. And he's a really good neurosurgeon. He's really
Mhm.
smart. And, he did the best for me. And I couldn't thank him enough. and I just it's great. Yeah.
Now this is called Mountain Bike Q&A.
And we didn't
So
really talk about mountain biking that much.
no, but what I want to say is but that's the story. There's people have a story other than mountain biking, but I do want to.
Hmm.
How long after all of this that you said, I'm going to get back on my bike?
I think it was never out of the question.
Really?
Yeah, I think I always knew that I'd go back to mountain biking, whether it was in 10 years or in a year. Actually, my first wish to make a wish was a trip to Whistler because I really wanted to go up there, but my riding wasn't that good
Hmm.
to, go up there. And if I go up there, I kind of want to hit some decently gnarly trails, if not all of the trails up there. But
Really?
I know it's going to take some time for me to, go up there and, hit that big jump line and whatnot. But
Dirt merchant.
yeah, so if I can just go up there and hit some decently gnarly trails, I'd be happy with that and whatnot. So it my Make a Wish story actually went from the trip to Whistler, and then I changed it because my eyes weren't getting better. I have double vision, by the way,
Oh,
so I've learned to deal with that. But I've gone from Whistler, and then I wanted to do a trip in Bora Bora, but I
no.
was 19 years old, and they couldn't grant it to me because their wait list was over 2 years for
Oh,
international trips, and
uh-huh.
I was gonna be over 21, and they can't grant it to people over 21. So I had to go domestic. I chose Hawaii, stay in a nice resort, and just have, like, a very relaxing vacation.
Yeah.
But COVID happened, the
Ah,
literally right the right before I was gonna go, the summer COVID hit. So 3 months
son of
before I
a.
was gonna go, COVID hit. I was like, crap. Actually, no, I was supposed to go to Hawaii over spring break. That's what it was. But
Okay.
COVID hit like 5 days before that, and then everything got shut down. And they were like, "Oh, you're gonna have to keep it to local because traveling is out of the picture." And I was like, "What do
Disneyland.
I really want?" Because, well, with Disneyland, I'm not a fan of Disney. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of Disney. I'm not, like, into it, but, like,
No, I
I
know. I'm
like
just
I
saying,
like their stuff, but it's not really my sort of thing.
and it's a
And
make a
Disneyland,
wish.
yeah, and Disneyland is something I would be able to do on any day. I've got a cousin who works there as well, so he could help out, and
Yeah.
I can it's 30 minutes from my house.
Oh, wow.
It's yeah,
So
it's
you
it's
want to,
not
it's
it's
a
not
make a wish. You want to make it
yeah.
special. So where'd
So
you end up?
I was thinking, at first I was like, can I get a gun out of this? Because that would be pretty cool.
You asked for what?
A gun.
I
Obviously,
don't think they're.
they were like, no, we're not an organization that does that. I'm like, all right, fine. So I was thinking, and I was like, I'm not gonna be in place to get a very expensive mountain bike in the future. So why not just get a very expensive, nice mountain bike and just maintain it? And that's what that's what it came to be. And I got a mountain bike.
You got your dream bike from Make a Wish,
Yeah,
and what
exactly.
was it?
Rocky Mountain altitude C70,
And you still have that.
C50. Sorry,
Okay.
C50.
Okay. Rocky
Yeah,
Mountain, if you're listening.
yeah. But yeah, it
Where
was
you-
a Rocky Mountain C50, full carbon. My dad was leery about me being so big and being on a carbon bike, but it's proven pretty well. I have cracked my frame and destroyed my front rim, but I've got those replaced and it's working very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, he had a Make a Wish, and he got himself a mountain bike.
Yeah.
That's
It's great.
amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
And have you been? Have you? My wife asked, did you still make it? Have you been to Hawaii yet?
I have not, no.
Oh no, go, go! It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I want to go, but
It's
I don't have the funds. I
you
actually I am going to Italy in a month.
oh, well,
So, yeah.
you got fun. You're going to Italy. Hawaii will be on your see, you're still young. Hawaii just will be there.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Well,
Seth is like true mountain biker. Make a wish.
yeah.
Um, could I get a Rocky Mountain mountain bike?
Yeah. Well, Make-A-Wish, they do have some pretty high standards to get in, and some of those standards you don't want. So,
No, no, I don't want any of them. I don't want to have anything to do with Make a Wish. So
yeah.
when you got back on your mountain bike after 17 surgeries, and you say you have double vision, what was like that like?
It's I I can't really explain it. It's kind of
Yeah.
like how you think double vision would be. Actually, I can't explain. So, do you know how like when you joke around with people and you cross your eyes and you see two of everything?
Yeah, when you just do it a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically what it is, but for permanent. So,
So you're riding like, oh, I'm gonna try that this weekend and I'm gonna wreck, but
no, no, don't. Please don't. Please don't. I advise you not to. And for anyone out there who's curious,
okay,
do
nobody
not
do
try
that.
this.
Nobody do it. But you do it.
It might be a good video. Don't try it though. Don't
But you
I'm telling you don't. Yeah,
don't do it.
exactly. Don't. Yeah, but that's basically what I see permanently. But I've been able to focus my brain to where the left eye is my like the dominant eye that I use.
Mhm.
And I basically use that left eye, all the vision out of it, and I ignore the image out of my right eye, but I use all the auxiliary processes like peripheral vision and everything out of it. So yeah, it's been quite the road, but I've been able to kind of gain function out of it, so to say.
The brain is a fascinating thing. And
It really is.
it's and I'm gonna bring this up, and this has it is nowhere near anything that you've gone through. But during COVID, I lost my taste and smell. And losing two of the five senses is really weird. But the brain, like I couldn't taste, but my brain knew what that tasted like.
I know exactly what you're talking about because that I lost my taste and smell too when I had COVID.
Oh, I didn't know I got COVID in March of 2020, and I'm like, what is this taste and smell? And all the doctors are like, oh, it's just sinusitis.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what happened to me and my whole floor over when I was in Wisconsin. We all had this sickness early March or early February that no one could explain of, and it all aligned with COVID symptoms. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was the
COVID,
taste and smell came later. I had it in March, and then late, like a few months later, they were like, "Oh, that's a thing." And as you say, your brain has trained itself to look at the left eye.
hmm
That's how my taste was. I could see a slice of pizza and remember my brain
yeah,
knew what pizza tasted like, even though. So I obviously gained the weight back, but I don't want to compare taste and smell to your stuff.
oh
Um,
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had COVID, so
yeah.
well, I've had it multiple times actually, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, oh, my wife. Where were we? Here's the train derailing on me. Um, but so I saw a video somewhere where you did have a patch at one point on your eye
hmm
while riding. Did that help?
Yes,
I mean, that obviously helped that you had no peripheral.
that sort of helped. My friend, he tried riding with his eye closed. He couldn't do it. So he was pretty amazed that I was able to be on the bike while with an eye patch.
Uh-huh.
But I used so the way I trained my brain was I used an eye patch and then put I turned it to putting tape on my glasses so it would kind of block it but use peripheral. And then the tape got smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually I didn't need it anymore. And that's where I am right now.
You just can overcome you're actually starting to annoy me.
Oh, sorry.
Because you just overcome everything. Like people be like, "Oh, I got something wrong with me," and it just you're like, "I am going to adjust and adapt."
It's
You
not
have the
pretty
strength
how I
you
do it.
have.
Like, it irritates me, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna ever adapt or overcome with anything. But one thing about me is with the stubborn mindset that I have is just keep doing it, and even if you're failing and it's hurting you, just keep doing it. Like, for instance, there was a rock section that I showcased in one of my, previous videos,
Mhm.
and I was showing the line choice through it. It took me, like, 7 or 8 tries to get that first part of the rock section down, and with me eating it 3 out of those 7 times and, like, hurting myself pretty badly. Like, I have a cut on my leg from last year to where if you brush over it, like, it hurts because I hit it so hard on a rock. Like like,
Yeah.
I push myself a little too hard sometimes.
But that's what that's you know what? I think that's what separates you from the people where they're like, "Oh, woe is me," is that you push yourself. You're like, "I'm not going to let this affect me to the point where I'm less of a person than I could be." Am
Mhm.
I making any sense?
Yeah.
I guess
No, I
I'm not
totally
good
get
at
it.
being, but yeah, it's amazing, and you just keep pushing yourself. And was there ever a point while mountain biking and you were wrecking and stuff, and you're just like, I'm just ah,
Yeah, yeah, there was definitely a point in time where I was like that. There was actually a point in time where I just quit mountain biking because of that, and I was super frustrated. I threw my helmet down, broke that. I, like, took
wow,
everything off, and I just stormed off, and I never really went back to biking after that for about a year, and then I went back, and it's been decent ever since.
yeah, your videos, and like you said, you've kind of brushed away from the YouTube for a minute.
Yeah,
Um,
right now, for the time being, I'm probably not gonna be uploading YouTube videos. I'm trying to stick a little more to Instagram.
mhm,
And then me and my friends, we're actually we're starting a podcast.
here we go.
Just yeah, yeah. Me and my friends are just starting a podcast because why not? So, but podcasts, they're easier to edit and like put out on the internet. And when it because with that podcast, I'm starting a whole nother channel. So it's not like you got to live stream or do anything.
Yeah,
And it's a lot easier to edit too. You just gotta, put a title,
yeah,
kind of edit where the cuts start and finish, and then you're good basically.
yeah,
So it's not hard. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it doesn't take as long in the editorial phase, doesn't take as long in the shooting phase. It's like a one and done thing. And with me in my videos, I'm not able to give 100% effort, so I feel like I'm, like, cheaping out the viewer, and I'm
yeah,
giving a half-ass effort, they're not gonna watch that. So it's like, if I don't give 100% effort, I'm not gonna do it. Cause just don't do it if you're not 100%, if you can't 100% do it. Like,
yeah,
I'll say right now, like, my focus is not on YouTube right now. It's on football right now, and I'm
yeah,
focusing on, weightlifting and being the best football player I can. And I'm still putting out like Instagram reels, but Instagram reels are easy because if you got a vertical mount, all you gotta do is just take a chunk of that video and put them
yeah,
on Instagram. Now, I did do an Instagram video that was like it was actually promoted and it was good. But that was because I just had a bunch of time on my hands, and it was spring break.
mhm,
But still, that 15-second clip took about 10 hours of my day.
Wow.
So it's like so it's crazy, but
Yeah, this
yeah.
whole social media YouTube thing, and this is why I go live now because I'm just the opposite of you with the editing. I do that for a living. So it's like, I'm just done editing. I just
Yeah.
throwing up here. We can just go live. But I find it funny that you bring up Instagram is that Instagram seems to be, I have more followers. I get more views. I get like for us mountain bikers, Instagram is the way to go. I mean, I do this, and obviously, I don't have a ton of subscribers, but I just do this because I love it.
hmm
I
Yeah.
love
I
meeting
mean,
people like you, and I'm sure that's probably why you want to do a
yeah,
podcast.
I just love being able to like create content and
Yeah,
kind of, inspire people to do things. And I feel the big reason that it is so like your followers are so much more is because of these things right here.
yeah,
Most people aren't going to be scrolling YouTube on this because they have long form videos. They're going to want the short form videos like TikTok, Instagram, and they're not really going to want it. I know YouTube has YouTube Shorts and they put that together for TikTok competition, but I feel like it's kind of going to Instagram
yeah.
because with Instagram, just like Eric said, like
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
instant results. But
It's
if you continue with those instant results, it just grows and grows and grows. YouTube is something where you've got to put in a lot of work and you're not going to like see anything for a while and then it'll grow, which I'm fine with personally myself. And I'm not quitting YouTube or anything, but
yeah,
I'm just, you know, I'm shifting over to Instagram and the instant result kind of helps me because I want to keep myself at like a phase where I'm not starting from square zero back on YouTube. I'm starting from an audience. And the reason why as well that Instagram followers and YouTube subscribers they're so much different is because YouTube and Instagram they don't transfer over to each other.
yeah.
So if you're going to tell someone, "Oh yeah, follow my YouTube channel on Instagram with 100,000 followers," so to say, only about 3% are actually gonna check out that Instagram or check out that YouTube,
YouTube.
and only about 1% might even watch, and even half of that is gonna subscribe.
You're depressing me. I've got a YouTube
Well,
channel. No, but it
well,
is funny.
I've got a YouTube channel too.
But what's funny
So
is the YouTube and Eric has talked. We we said something to each other about this. Is like my Instagram. I'll do these goofy little reels every now and then when I have time.
I think they're great. They're
Yeah,
funny. I like
thank
them.
you, thank you.
Yeah.
And I've got some locked and loaded. I really need like Seth was here. He's got the goofy stuff as well. Riding dirty. Eric is just an incredible rider to watch him ride on Instagram. And it's funny. It's like I can still watch like every day. I put out this thing with the tinkering cyclist where I had a, a severed hand in my refrigerator. It was just a
Mhm.
goofy ASMR thing, and I still get hits to this
Yeah.
day on or likes from it. But then on YouTube, you watch it kind of do like that. You
Mhm.
get the views, and then it just kind of dies,
Yeah,
and
well,
then
that's the
it's
thing with
over.
YouTube is you wanna create something that'll make people come back. That's kinda like what you wanna do with YouTube, and
Yeah,
that's something that I'm trying to get better. So, I'm trying to, like, make videos that are, like, educational, and if someone forgets, like, "Watch that video, that really stuck in my mind." Those are the kind of videos that I think YouTube more benefits off of. And I mean, of course, they're gonna have, those celebrities, and you just wanna watch what they do in their life.
yeah,
But but if you just post like, for me, what I've come to the hard realization of is if you just continue to post straight mountain bike content, people most likely aren't gonna watch it. But if you tell them like, "Oh, I do this because of this and this and this," then they're more likely gonna engage and, actually stay around and stick around. That's one of the things that oh, you
Taking
you
notes
want
now.
yeah, taking notes?
Now, you know what? I'm at an age where I'm just really enjoying this. I never
Mhm,
see myself getting the silver button or whatever the hell that is, or making a
mhm.
buck off it. But I really freaking love doing this. It's just something I love talking and meeting people like you guys. What do you plan on your podcast being about? Is it mountain biking?
I think we're just gonna talk about it's me and my friend, he does a mountain bike, so I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
just gonna be a podcast just about, like, good stories, and the last episode we had, we just sat there and we just talked, and we just said whatever, and
Yeah.
we actually had a deep conversation about Star Wars, so I don't wanna be into that niche,
Yeah.
because but I I don't know. We
It's a
haven't
chat.
we have to decide about that. We have to talk. We've already made like a logo and our name on it and
Nice.
whatnot. And
What
we've
is
already
it?
shot an episode. It's called the Round Raspberry.
The round
And the reason,
raspberry.
yeah, the Round Raspberry podcast. And the reason why we call it that is because my last name is Round and his last name is Razlowski, but he likes to shorten it up and call himself Raz. So Round Raspberry is like a play on the both of our last names, and that that kind of just stuck.
It
So
works.
we were just like, hey, like people are gonna remember it, Round Raspberry, because not a lot of podcasts have that name,
Yeah.
or like, because before we were gonna call it the late night with Zach and Alec, and we were like, okay, you type in the late night, and then it auto fills. What do you get? You get the late night with Jimmy Fallon, the
Yeah.
late night with Jimmy Kimmel. You get all this competition and popularity out of late night. I'm like, what can we do to like make it stand out? And my initial one was Tumor raspberries because people are going to remember that. Tumor and raspberries?
Yeah.
Like, what? But, I kind of accommodated down to him and I was like, okay. He's like, why don't we just do it based off our last names? And we started coming up with ideas off our last names, and
Yeah.
it was Round Raspberry. So that's what we did.
And
And
it's just
yeah,
a fun little chat. You guys are just talking. You're just riffing. You're just talking about what kind of like a Seth Rogen thing where you guys are
yeah, we were just talking,
just hanging
and
out.
we first wanted it to be kind of like weird educational topics. So I did some research, and I actually found something about it, and it was the the World Yo-Yo Championship. So every year they have a championship for yo-yoing,
Oh,
which
that's
is pretty
great.
cool. We talked about that, and then the other one was Mothman in Virginia, out of a moth facility, I think it was, in like 1970. There was a strange 7-foot figure who
Yeah,
had
Mothman
wings.
prophecies.
I don't know.
Yeah, there was a movie about it. I think Richard Gere was in
There
it.
is?
Yeah,
Oh.
Richard Gere played in it.
Oh, wow.
Look it up.
I
So
need
we
to
can
go
talk about
I
it
need to
right
go
now.
check it out, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the big figure that it had wings, and
Oh, wow.
is
Okay.
that what you're talking about?
No, it was like it's an actual account. Like, people actually they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's there was a figure, and they call it Mothman."
Yeah,
But it disappeared after 2 days. So,
I'm going around Raspberry.
well, we haven't uploaded the segment,
Upload it now, mister, when we get
yeah.
off.
I don't so the thing that I wanna do is I wanna put a description in. We have no description. We have no description at all, no
Mhm.
Instagram bio or anything, and we don't have, like, enough content to where we can consistently put out stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's the best thing that YouTube, Instagram, just any platform wants to see is consistency. Are you willing to keep people on the platform and make us money? But we're going to give you an incentive as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a win-win. But yeah.
Yeah, you gotta wanna go full in and have the yeah, it was funny when I first started doing this, and it was that trying to get people for one and trying to get the content. But with you and your buddy just chilling and talking, you guys can start stacking them and then throw it out there.
hmm Yeah, that I think that's what we plan to do is kind of stack them up and then put them out there because next next week I have something I believe, and then I'm leaving for Italy for a whole week.
Nice.
So it's like we kind of need, you know, episodes so we can consistently put one out like every week or something like that.
Yeah, that's
But
great,
yeah.
man. Good for
hmm
you. Oh, my sister
Yeah.
jumps in. Mothman is in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. They even have a festival for it every
Oh
year.
wow.
I'm gonna have to Google when
Oh,
we're
it's in,
done.
it's in West Virginia. I thought it was just in Virginia. Point Pleasant does sound familiar to me. So, Nick, what's going on, man? How you
Oh,
doing?
wow. Oh, you know Nick?
Yeah, yeah. I follow him on Instagram, and I've met him at a few group rides. Yeah, he's a
Okay,
great
Nick.
guy. I love Nick. Yeah.
Thanks for joining in. Better late than never. I know these things are all
Exactly.
weird timing stuff. Um, back to the back to the mountain biking, or not even mountain
Mhm.
biking. Where do you see yourself moving forward? You talked about inspirational speaking. I mean, what are you doing in college? Or are you major it? What are you majoring in?
Right now. I'm majoring in communications,
Okay,
so in communication studies, and then I'm minoring in creative and cultural industries.
okay. And with communications, you wanna branch off and use that into helping others?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So.
Have you already
Yeah.
started doing something like that?
Yeah, I've sort of started something like that. I have a kind of a surprise for I'm doing so last year I did a fact a day for the month of May because May is Brain Tumor Awareness Month. So in that month, you're supposed to go gray, like wear gray for brain tumor awareness.
Oh, wow.
And
I
it's
did not
Brain
know
Tumor
that.
Awareness Month, so I did a fact a day for the month of May. And I basically had a brain tumor fact every day for the month of May. And this year I kind of have something cool planned out for it. So I'm coming back to a fact a day for the month of May, and I have something cool planned for it. So stick around because
Mistaken.
so I'll be doing something with that. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm super excited about what it's gonna gonna
Oh,
become.
I'm looking forward to it and give me a heads up on it so I
Oh,
can
it'll
help
be on my Instagram. I
promote it.
think
Yeah.
that's when I'll start posting YouTube shorts again because I'll upload it to Instagram and I'll upload it on my YouTube shorts.
Back to YouTube. And this I don't I keep forgetting to ask you this. Bless you.
Thank
Um, you your little and you even wear it on your jersey. You got a little brain with a band-aid. Brain with the
you.
band-aid.
Yep, that's my logo right there.
Who came up with that? How'd you get that going?
So it was senior year of high school, and we did our own parking spots, and we can paint them.
Oh,
And
that's
we
awesome.
were coming up with an idea that I wanted. I wanted a brain. And me being my funny self, I was like, why don't we just slap a band-aid where I had my brain tumor? Something simple, and that's literally how that came to be. So it was at first with the parking well, first I needed a logo for my Tumor Warrior website.
Mhm.
So I was like, brain with a band-aid. I was just blurting out ideas, and my dad took it seriously, had someone design that for him. And I was like joking around, and I come to him a few days later, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, so what are we gonna do for my logo?" He's like, "Oh, I already got it drawn up." I'm like,
What?
"This is my logo."
That's your logo. You
Yeah.
got jerseys with it on.
Yeah, I've made a custom jersey that has my logo right in the front.
Now and I've seen you in other people's videos. I think maybe on a mock flock ride or
Mhm.
a segment
I've
ride.
been in Adam's videos, Mark's videos, and Elias's videos, but I'm like every once in a while I just come on because I'm a part of either their group ride or the group ride they're attending or just something fun that they're doing.
Yeah, I've seen some of them, and that's how I think I've got into watching your stuff. What, what is it? God, I'm no good at questions. I should end this podcast. No,
No, no.
what is it like to because I've seen it and people are like, "Hey," and they shout you out. They see the tumor warrior. And as you can see in these comments, you've inspired people. How does that make you feel as going through somebody who's gone through what you've gone through and know that you've touched people and have inspired them?
It's great. The fact that I'm able to impact lives that are outside of my control, like it's it feels really good. It feels great, and I don't know. I just can't thank everyone enough, and I just want I it's what I've always wanted to do, and it's what I actually am trying to do, and it's been working out so far, and to see the success of it coming back, it just feels amazing, and I'm just super thankful that I'm able to do that.
I mean, it's just amazing that something so could have been so tragic has turned into something that has changed your life and you have inspired to change other people's lives by inspiring them. It's beyond like I see them, they're like, "Hey, tumor warrior," and they're giving you the high fives and they know who you are. And you're still, like I said, you're still a young guy in this. You've got your world ahead of you.
Hmm.
You're humbled.
Thank
It's
you. Yeah,
very
yeah,
humbled.
I am. Yes, and well, there are some times where I can kind of get egotistical, but I
We
mean,
all do.
yeah, I just try not to, and I try to stay down to earth and kind of be humble. And with my friends that I've known for a long time, I kind of just go completely raw with them and
Yeah.
just just say whatever and just say like the most outrageous stuff with them, and like we just have fun times and
Yeah.
whatnot. It's just I've noticed now with some of my some of their friends that I talk to that are some of my my close friends, they have a friend group that are also part of my friend group, but I'm not very
Yeah.
close to them. But I'm super close to one of them, and then I kind of say outrageous stuff, and they kind of just jump on, and, like, question me all about this, and I'm just like, I try to stay out of that part, and it kind of rubs off as a different person. I'm trying to kind of contain that a little bit
Yeah.
because it doesn't look good on myself, first of all, but also it's just not who I am. If you really get to know me, if you really get to talk to me and ask questions, you will really find out the truth of myself.
Yeah.
And that I just like when I'm around friends and when I'm around people that I really know, I just turn into like this big goofball and kind of like, oh, I know this and I know that, blah blah blah. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't. It's like I really take in the information, but it's like I act a certain way with friends, like with certain friends, and like that are kind of like an inside joke.
Yeah.
so to say. But
Yeah.
yeah, but some
Totally.
people don't get it and they misconceive it and whatnot.
You're you. You're
Yeah.
you. You had a
Mhm,
brain tumor, and you've turned it in. You took a negative and turned it into a positive,
mhm.
and it's your story is amazing. And Zach, I guess you and the Snow Summit, man.
Snow Summit, Snow Valley.
Snow Valley, Snow Summit. There's snow over
Yeah.
there. I live in Miami. There's no.
They're lift-served bike parks in the summer. In the winter, they are ski resorts,
Mhm.
and they are very close to my house.
Okay.
They're about 2 hours away in the mountains. That's the good thing about California. You get the beach, which is 5 minutes away from my house, but if you go 2 hours in the other direction, you're in the mountains.
It's
So
amazing.
it's like, wow.
Yeah, California is. I lived, like I said, I lived there for like a year and a half, and it's just it was. You're like ocean, mountains. It's so different.
Yeah.
Such an amazing place to be. I don't want to keep you any longer, man. We've gone on forever, but your story is just
Yeah.
freaking phenomenal, dude.
Oh,
Like
yeah, no problem.
you're still
And if
talking.
you
You're still, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah,
without
no,
that
I
accident, this wouldn't be here.
mm-mm,
That's
no,
it's just it floors me, and your story is inspirational. It gets people up. I know it keeps me going. Like you hit a brain tumor. Why aren't? And he's riding a bike. Well, what am I doing? you
right.
know, oh, I'm
Hey, hey,
tired.
we all have different stories, you
Yeah.
know? It's all a different story. It's all, a different plan of life. We all have our own challenges and we all have to overcome them. And, it's, your story is different than mine and it's still really good. And, no story beats the other story. They're all very unique in their own way. And that's, that's the beautiful thing about life. We all have our own stories.
So my last question is, well, what's next for you? What's in the close future for you? You got May. You told us about May brain awareness.
College football season. It starts up in August. We have our first game late August, so I'm hoping I'll be playing in that, and we'll just see where it goes from there on out. But college football, and then hopefully after college football, I graduate and I start mountain bike racing, and I start actually doing stuff.
Doing stuff, living life once you
Yeah.
graduate.
Yeah.
Amazing. I wish you nothing but even more great success in what you're doing.
Oh,
I,
thank you so much.
I can't thank you enough for coming onto this goofy little thing.
Oh, no problem,
I
man.
don't know why.
Hey, Johnny, if you want to have me on again, I can always be on again. Or
Oh, for
if you
sure.
if you ever yeah, if you ever just want to chat or whatever, I'm always down.
Yeah, I would
You've got
love.
my Instagram, you've got my social, so you always can ask me questions and whatnot. And I'm like an open book. Ask away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what? I've done a couple podcasts as a guest, and it's really fun being on your side
it is. Yes, it
because
is.
there's no like I got to kind of drive this train, and I'm not right up there anyway. You're
hmm
more right, and you had a tumor, so
I wouldn't say that I'm perfectly right, but
you're
I-
good.
I'm I'm somewhat there.
So thank you so much. I can't. uh, uh, you will be back on, and we will stay in contact, folks. All of his stuff, his website, if you want to follow his journey, his Instagram, his YouTube. Um, Maybe once this, round raspberry comes to be, I'll throw that on as well. Zach, I can't thank you enough,
Hey, no problem. Yeah.
dude. I hope you
I'll
all.
I'll consider you as a guest on our podcast sometime, and like once I learn how to, get live streaming to work and I actually know how to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I
But
love
yeah,
it. Love it. Seth was here, Lauren, everybody in your comment, Mountain Bike, MTV Nick, all you kids, thank you so much for joining in and listening to Zach's story here. Now, if you can, go get your bike started.
Exactly.
All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks so much. You.